Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters along with Katie Pavlich, Geraldo, Kennedy, and Greg. It's 5 o'clock in New York City. This is The Five.
Did you hear what she said about me long before I went after her? Did you hear? She made horrible statements. She knows they're not true. She said terrible things. So I just responded in kind.
The feud intensifies. That was President Trump responding to Nancy Pelosi's latest attack. The two have been going at each other all week. Take a look.
We believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
I don't do cover-ups.
The White House is just crying out for impeachment.
I don't think anybody wants to be impeached.
I pray for the President of the United States.
She's a mess. Look, let's face it.
And now this time, another temper tantrum.
She said I walked into the room right next door and started screaming and yelling. I watched Nancy and she was all crazy yesterday. She put the hands and everything. She reminded me of Beto.
The President again stormed out, pound the table, walk out the door.
I walked out. I was so calm.
I wish that his family or his administration or his staff would have an intervention.
I'm an extremely stable genius.
And, of course, the media cheering Pelosi on, ignoring her attacks while criticizing President Trump for his. They're also using the exact same talking point.
Good evening, and once again, the world is learning just how easy it is to get under the skin of the most powerful man on earth.
Why does Nancy Pelosi get under the president's skin so much?
Pelosi, for some reason, gets under his skin.
It very clearly got under his skin.
He got petulant, he got small because Pelosi got under his skin.
The speaker's really getting under the president's skin.
She has a strategy for dealing with the president and is extremely effective at getting under his skin.
And Joe Scarborough is floating this ridiculous conspiracy theory about the president.
The president, of course, during the campaign, we've said it, people closest to him told us that they feared that he was in mental decline. People very close to him told us that they feared that he was pre-dementia, that he had changed.
All right, Greg, I want to get to a lot here, but first, the same talking point.
Just with Joe, he's the last person to be talking about mental decline. Was that played at half speed?
Ooh.
I mean, seriously, he's lost a few steps. Okay, this like under your skin thing has it. I heard that 3 times to my face by 3 different people, and it's now the news peg, and it shows the point how the media and the Democrats are almost. They're incestuous. They're interchangeable. You don't know which one's on the leash and which one's pulling the pet.
Like constitutional crisis.
Yes, exactly.
Who started that?
Who started that? And the thing is, rather than, they're almost like non-playing characters in a video game. They don't have any achievements, so they're more marginalized now to, wow, Nancy really got under his skin. That's what they're rooting for. Okay, so think about how lucky all of us are to be alive at this moment. Things are so good that 2 of the most powerful American politicians are in a roast. A public roast, and we're actually enjoying it. It's a testament to the peace and prosperity that we're experiencing now, that an entire party can waste all their time making up stupid stories. It's a libertarian's dream, because I think what Trump has done is he has shown that we never really needed politicians to begin with, because the Democrats aren't doing jack. And everything's great. Yeah. He's got him completely screwed up.
Well, do you think the media is just helping Pelosi in this battle? Because you don't really want to get into an argument with the president, especially when it gets personal. I think they're just giving her a hand, because I don't know if she can go toe-to-toe with him.
I would like to see them go toe-to-toe more often. I would like to see more of those open-door meetings where Chuck and Nancy were at the White House and they were all kind of arguing, and they were ambushed by the cameras that the president invited in. The president said he's a transparent person. I would like to see more of that. I think Washington is, by and large, a pretty deplorable place for this very reason. And I think a lot of people watch this and they think they're both nuts and they want to throw everyone out.
It's like 2 people over 70 accusing each other of being mentally deficient. What do you think about now? So it's like they've gotten over the Russia collusion. He's no longer a traitor. They're just going back to the mentally unstable line of attack.
It reminds me of early Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin.
Don't say it.
Jane, you ignorant slut. I will say it.
Yes.
I mean, you can laugh about it, but I find it unsettling that the two most powerful people, they're not just the two most powerful politicians, they're the two most powerful people on earth. And when they're going at each other, your nose is leaking, or, the president is famously thin-skinned, to borrow a phrase there, but he's also very tempestuous, and you push back, that kind of stuff. I don't like it.
Isn't that what the Brits have been doing forever, though, Geraldo? We've seen the tapes of Labour and Tories just screaming at each other.
Well, yeah, I guess, but it's not traditional here. And I've got a 13-year-old, and she's watching the news now, and there's the President of the United States and the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
That's your fault.
And it's like they're like hazing each other, like a fraternity. He's not President of Sigma Chi. He's President of the United States.
I think it's fantastic. It actually is more honest about the way that they actually feel about each other instead of pretending like they like each other. They're actually fighting it out in public. And I love how the phrase getting under someone's skin is now defined by simply responding to attacks. Like, remember when Kavanaugh defended himself?
Yes.
And everyone's like, he's too angry to be on the Supreme Court. This is basically the same thing. She accuses him of a cover-up in front of everybody to appease her Democratic caucus after an impeachment meeting, and then wonders why the president would have something to say about her behavior and what they're doing.
But he didn't have to say about her behavior. He had to say about her personally. He talked about how he inferred that she had,
and she inferred that he's committing a crime.
Okay, can I just add something to that really quickly? Because everyone is talking about the I word, impeachment, and Nancy Pelosi is the one who's most averse to it. She's the one who doesn't want to go down that path because she says it's too divisive. But then she uses the word intervention, which is like diet impeachment. And it's like, if you want to impeach him, just impeach him.
I think what she revealed the true agenda. When she said cover up, that's what started it all. The president's engaged in a cover-up. Then she went into that infrastructure meeting. It was clear that what inadvertently she revealed was the Speaker of the House is with the radical Democrats, that she wants impeachment. It's just a question of tactically when to launch the A-bomb.
Right after that and said impeachment is certainly something maybe we should do right after she accused him of a cover-up.
But it is another lesson for American viewers about the media and how with the direction the media takes. Who do they mimic? Who do they champion? You go back to the attacks on Kavanaugh as a mob, the elevation of Smollett, the elevation of Avenatti. Now Pelosi is kind of like their Avenatti. It's like they switch out one Trump killer for another Trump killer because this Trump killer didn't work, right? So Pelosi's going to be the one. She should run, actually. But the Avenatti, Smollett, none of this stuff is working. So they have to keep trying new ones.
Avenatti, Smollett, and then the Speaker of the House of Representatives. That's your trio? I know where your head's at.
But what about Jerry Nadler? It's the same thing. Like they invest, and Greg's right about that. They invest hopes in a new titan pretty much quarterly. It's a new person that they're hoping that they will have the magical combination for the Rubik's Cube that will be the president's undoing.
And today, Jerry Nadler, I believe, fainted at a public event, lost a little consciousness, had to be resuscitated by the mayor here. He had a glass of water, and I think he's feeling better. So we just want to let the audience know that Jerry Nadler's doing a lot better.
Can we talk about the media again doing their own self-diagnosis of the problem? Like, you're not allowed to make any jokes right now about Jerry Nadler having an issue, but people like Joe Scarborough are allowed to go on national television and say that people have told him, without actually naming anybody, that people have told him that the president is pre-dementia. I remember when it was not allowed, we weren't allowed to ask about anybody's health when it came to that, but now news anchors are diagnosing people's mental health.
And if you had said that about Hillary Clinton, if she were president, that would be sexist.
She actually had a health issue. But with Nadler, it looked like, because he used to be a lot larger. I've known him forever. And now he's deflated. People lose a lot of weight. They look like they're, and he looked awful. But Republicans are fortunate that the two most unattractive people in Washington, Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler, are the point people for the
physically
Democrats.
Unattractive.
Oh, they are.
Pencil neck you're talking about.
They are annoying in every possible way.
But wait, I want to. The point about accusing somebody or suggesting that the leader of the free world has dementia. You're kind of suggesting that he needs to be removed by any means necessary.
Treason.
Because that a hero. If he is demented, a hero would remove him. I mean, there's some dangerous, conclusions you can draw from that.
Seriously speaking, in this Barr investigation, Let's see where that leads. How close did they come to the 25th Amendment BS? How close did they come for this latent coup happening, as they were, plotting, okay, what do we do now with this phony
because
dossier?
we already know that Andy McCabe opened up an obstruction investigation into the president the day after he fired James Comey.
I mean, they've just gone on this list of things that they couldn't defeat Trump on, whether it was the election, the special counsel investigation. Now they're trying to do impeachment without doing impeachment.
And now they're back
using
to
the media
mentally ill.
with the DNC listserv that apparently went around with everyone using the same kind of terminology. And now they're saying he may have dementia. And as Greg said, well, there's a solution to that if you really want to do the right thing for the country, and that's to remove him from office.
All right.
I saw that movie.
Hear what she said about me long before I went after her. Did you hear? She made horrible statements. She knows they're not true. She said terrible things. So I just responded in kind. Look, you think Nancy's the same as she was? She's not. Maybe we can all say that. But I think frankly, right now I'm only speaking for myself. I want to do what's good for the country. I think Nancy Pelosi is not helping this country. I think the Democrats are obstructionists. They're hurting our country very, very badly.
So that was that. But in another part, he said, but I think we can work together. So I don't know. Which one do you think it is?
Well, look, he came to Washington, D.C. as a deal maker. I don't think he wants to lose the mantle as being the guy that can get the big deals done. And that's why he continues to reach out to Nancy saying, I'm ready to make a deal. I'm ready to make a deal. Nancy Pelosi has her own problems within the Democratic caucus. Most of her members don't want to make deals with Donald Trump. They want to impeach Donald Trump. So she's walking that very fine line. I think Donald Trump is totally right saying, I want to make a deal and not be the one that takes that off the table.
See, I think House Democrats actually at this point, what they are trying to argue is we are passing all of these bills, and it's the obstructionist Republican Senate
that never sells, though.
That's
Paul Ryan said forever, and nobody believed him.
And what bills have they passed?
That's their angle, though. I mean, they're basically saying that it's all who's on first, finger pointing back at one another. Democrats in the House are going to say it's the Republicans in the Senate. Right. Then it's back to Trump.
It's not what they're doing down in Washington. It's what these few talking heads and like Adam Schiff are saying when they're Jackie John on these TV networks nonstop. And Kimberly Strassel wrote about this, Lisa, about Nancy Pelosi and her impeachment dilemma. You can't accuse the president of crimes and think your constituents won't demand action. Mrs. Pelosi had an alternative after the Mueller report to declare the subject over and tell her party to move on. She didn't. She created this dilemma, and it risked her party a lot more than just its reputation.
Did you say Jackie Jawing? I like that. I'm going to steal that.
My dad made that word up. I hope it's not dirty.
Yeah, you don't want to get in trouble. But regarding the impeachment talk, I think a lot of it is noise because the Hill had a whip count and there's only 32 Democrats that are on record supporting impeachment. And if you go through and look at the partisan makeup of those congressional districts they represent, they're all in heavily leaning Democratic districts. I think there's only one person in a competitive swing district. So what Nancy Pelosi needs to look out for are those Democrats who are running in Republican districts and particularly Trump districts. Those are the ones she's trying to protect, not these people who lose nothing.